Okay, we're recording now. So, hi, Chrissy and Shane of South Landing CrossFit. Can you guys please share a little bit about yourselves and then just South Landing CrossFit, how you guys opened up, how old you guys are, all of that?
Yeah. So my name is Shane. This is my wife, Chrissy. We started South Landing officially about 3.5 years ago now. Yeah, so November of 2016. We started off, she was full-time there. I was still working another job full-time. And so it kind of started small. We actually even back up a little bit further, started with just some free park workouts.
At Island Home Park?
Yeah, Island Home Park in South Knoxville. We started off just offering these free workouts to the community, and you know, as we kind of were talking last night, we were reflecting a little bit, and we started thinking it's funny how some of that crew from the Island Home Park actually is still some members today, and it really sowed some fun seeds.
That's awesome.
Kind of go ahead and start creating community, I guess. So that's kind of where we started. Fast forward to today, we are located on Sevier Avenue. Our facility is South Landing CrossFit. We have about 3,000 square feet or so, and we offer kind of a variety of services from group kind of exercise classes like CrossFit and boot camp, as well as personal training, small group training, nutrition coaching. And just recently, with all of this craziness going on, have added a new pillar of remote coaching. So that has been a fun transition as well.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
Yeah.
And it's already popular too. So that's really cool that you guys just can naturally go into it. So.
Well, and it's kind of funny.
We've
been talking about it with our head coach since about last fall probably. So it's been something we've talked about for probably 9 months. And something we really wanted to move into. We wanted to do it excellently. So we've been talking, we're like, oh, well, we'll launch it in June. And then surprise, we launched it now.
A couple months early, it's fine.
Yeah, we learned, I'm like, we can take an entire gym.
Couple months early with a couple hundred people more than we expected to start with. But
yeah. Well, now you'll be extra prepared for just like the however many people want to be online coached, and then it's not going to be nearly as crazy and stressful. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
I remember actually when we were switching remote, that he was like, this is kind of fun. Like, we're literally starting a new business. And I was like, it is really fun. It's just normally you have more than 48 hours to start a new business.
Yeah.
It's fun.
So when this whole thing started happening, did you guys think that you would go online? When did that thought even happen into your mind?
Yeah. So luckily, we're part of a business mentorship group for like fitness facilities
all around the world.
And they've got people, again, all, like you said, all over the world. And so we kind of were a little bit fortunate in that some gyms that were, semi connected to through this mentorship had already had some, gyms closing and shutdowns, and they kind of had some best practice for us to be able to see, and they did a lot of stuff to see, hey, what works, what doesn't work. And so we tried pretty closely to listen to the advice from our mentors. You always kind of create your own path a little bit, but we tried to listen to their advice as much as we could, and they really encourage people to really go down the road of more the remote coaching as opposed to just kind of free live classes, essentially. So we do kind of a combo now.
I think with remote coaching too, like basically what that looks like for us is like every client has an individual program. So we have a specific app that's called True Coach that we use. They have their own account on it, it's on the phone, and they have, based on like, there's notes in their profile of what equipment they have. We do a remote consult with them before any of this started. And basically we're like, hey, what are your goals? What equipment do you have? How much time do you have? How many days a week? And so based on that, then every week they are getting new individualized programming. Maybe they have an old injury from wakeboarding, and we're able to modify their workouts specifically for that. So it's a more individualized, tailored approach.
And it's an ongoing, it's always a constantly shifting. I talked to a client last night who just said, hey, I've been really stressed with work, and coming home and trying to follow a specific program has been really challenging. And so we kind of pivoted to, let's really simplify for next week. And he's like, I really enjoy running right now. So we kind of shifted, and I'll have a running program for him with some strength training still, but it'll be a lot of stuff that he's not having to come home and think a lot and such. So it really is kind of the shifting and listening to what do they want, what do they need, and then delivering that through a pretty user-friendly app.
And we've always said like our mission is to coach people from point A to point B. And really, like, when these early conversations happened, like, yes, it's unfortunate our brick and mortar was shut down, but our mission doesn't change at all. Like, our mission is still help people get from point A to point B and to truly be like a highlight of their day. And so while yes, how we coach has changed, our mission has literally not changed at all. And so if anything, we have a lot of clients that are really thriving right now, which has been cool to see.
That's awesome.
It was cool to see our coaching staff literally take this by the reins, and I mean they have absolutely crushed it. And they have coached people upload videos, we will coach them based on those videos, but it's something that we're always talking about excellence, like a culture of excellence. And so we wanted to do this excellently, and we've tried really hard. We'll make some changes. We had to do it really fast, but we wanted them to have an excellent service that we were giving them, and for them, our clients, to feel taken care of the entire way.
Yeah, that's amazing. Do you think that your guys' service of coaching, in addition to just being there for these people, have been helping them through this entire transition of just dealing with COVID in general, like not just even in the physical realm?
Yeah. I think that's what's interesting about coaching. And I think, people always see just the fitness side of things of, hey, here's how you do a squat, here's how you do a press. But really, I think especially in this more smaller kind of boutique gyms like us, coaching is a lot bigger than just do a squat. Especially as you start to build relationships with people, we've got a small enough crew that we still have a relationship with just about every single client. So it's, really a lot of Christie's especially turn into counseling sessions or,
I totally get that.
It's bouncing ideas about that. It's, nutrition has cared for and known. Nutrition has been a big topic of conversation with a lot of clients because they're home more now. They're having to figure out, how do I cook? They can't go to restaurants. They're having to navigate grocery stores and just stuff they're not used to doing. Or maybe they're used to doing that stuff, but a lot of their normal groceries aren't in stock. That was a big thing a couple of weeks ago. And so it's just helping people navigate that. And so again, coaching, like Christy said, it goes beyond just here's how you do a squat. It's hey, here's some ways to healthier life. And that's kind of the road we've tried to go down.
We'll send out some forums that ask, like, how's your sleep? How's your stress? How's your nutrition? And then like, how are you? And I think that's something I've talked to our coaches about. Like, we might be the only people checking in on some of our clients if they live by themselves, and making them not feel alone, hopping on Zoom calls. And we've done a lot of those this week of just like, hey, how are you? Like, yes, your workouts, all that, that's great. But like, how are you as an individual? How's your stress levels? Because if stress levels are really high, I mean, their workouts do need to look different. And we would not be doing our job if we just gave them these super high intensity workouts and their stress levels are up here. And so it's been actually kind of cool to take a little bit more of an individualized approach and to really be able to check in on each person.
Well, since we started, we've always said that, health is more than just the physical aspect of health. There's a mental, emotional, social, there's all these different connections of what health is. And, this has just added another hurdle for people to try to find a healthy lifestyle. And that's, part of a coach is to help them try to navigate that in some way.
Yeah. So I know that because you had a brick and mortar business, there are people that paid to have a physical presence with you guys, just like many other businesses that are going through the same thing. Did you guys experience any people canceling on you or saying, oh, I'm not going to do online because I don't see the value in this? Or how did you manage giving your clients the same value into online for this temporary time?
It's a great question. And yeah, we've definitely, like I think most gyms probably around town and across the country and world, I mean, you're going to have people that they signed up for like you said, an in-person coach presence, that kind of stuff. And so some people just said, hey, I don't see myself being successful at this, so please pause. Or some people, unfortunately with all the stuff going on, have had job losses, furloughs, whatever. And so just the economic impact of that has been very real for a lot of people. And so we've had to honestly just understand that, like, hey, like sometimes something has to go, and unfortunately sometimes that's us, and that's okay. and that's hard, but at the same time, like, we still want to hopefully encourage them to continue doing something physical, obviously. But it just looks different in the season for a lot of people.
Yeah. And I think, so it happened mid-month. We closed, I forget the exact date. It was a Monday in May.
16th.
Yeah. And so it happened kind of mid-month for us. So most people pay their entire membership. So what it did allow us to do is, so we closed on a Monday night, and by Wednesday, we had pretty much totally switched remote. And so what that allowed us to do is pretty much for 2 weeks is to really show our clients, hey, like, this is what we're doing, and they could see the value then. And we could get feedback from them also. And so our goal was like, hey, we want to really show you, like, yes, our brick and mortar is closed, but the value you're receiving, like, they're probably getting more individualized interaction and coaching, even in group classes, and they miss the group classes for sure. But as far as like the programming and stuff, it's probably even more individualized than usual. And so showing them that value over those 2 weeks and showing them that they can do it. I think it's like all of us, we've all had to completely pivot our schedules, how we do things, stuff at home, and even us, like working out at home, that's a big difference or change for us. And so helping people come up with systems for that and kind of walking them through that for 2 weeks, and then showing them like, hey, you can do this. We actually rented out equipment from our facility so that everyone could pretty much have something if they wanted. Maybe it's a dumbbell and a band, but that way we could change workouts up for them. And so we really tried to, I think something we kept talking about is like, we need to lead, and leading means clarity. Like, people don't need to be wondering like, well, what are they doing? What are they not going to do? It's like, hey, this is what we're doing. And so we try to be extremely upfront and clear with every single one of you will have a new account on TrueCoach. You will have an individualized program by 8 p.m. every Sunday night. This is our Zoom class schedule. If you want to join us for live remote classes, you can. And just really try to lead them and show them like, we were trying to keep, things were changing so fast. You know, we knew for about a week before we were closing that we would be closing. It was a matter of when we chose to close. And lucky for us, like, we just literally woke up one morning that's like, it's time to like protect our community that we love. And so, so yeah, I think we learned a lot about just like leading from the front and being very clear in what our decisions were, and just making decisions and not like wavering back and forth.
Yeah, that's why, it's one of the reasons why I love you guys. You guys are just very level-headed and very good leaders. So I think you're the perfect candidate to lead, especially in this particular thing. So within that, because you guys are having to lead an entire company and a team of coaches virtually, and you're also parents of a young child, not just like school-age child who's just on an iPad all the time, like, that you have a baby. So how are you managing being parents, leading a team virtually, and being business owners at the same time, and keeping up with your deadlines? As you said, like, you're every Sunday night at 8 o'clock, you have to have programming out to all of your clients. So how have you been managing that, or has it been a struggle at all because you've been working from home more? I know you already were working from home, Chrissy, a little bit here and there, but it might be a little bit different now.
Yeah, I think the biggest struggle for us was just getting a new schedule, because like you said, having a little one and such, you know, we've had to do a lot of tag teaming where maybe she works for 3 hours and then I work for 3 hours, or she works for half a day and then I work for half a day. And for us, it just was a learning curve figuring it out. But I think thankfully our staff has really, they've just been phenomenal, honestly. We pretty much took our client list, divided it up into, you know, each staff member got a certain amount of clients, and we've really trusted them. They've done a great job to lead and to coach those clients that they're responsible for. And we're still checking in. We do a lot of, you know, staff check-ins, whether it's a phone call, Zoom call, whatever. But they've just done such a phenomenal job from the business side of helping us. And so, you know, we've got our own clients that we're responsible for. So really from the coaching and business side, like, it's really been honestly just a team effort across the board. I think
they've literally, like, I mean, we did have to create all new standard operating procedures. And once we did that, we had a Zoom meeting on it. And I mean, basically they have run with it. And there is, like, we could not have done any of this without them. They have, like, all of them are so good at like keeping excellence. And I would just say it's been even more impressive we have literally asked them to completely change how they coach. And they have not asked any questions, and they've gone above and beyond and helping each other and encouraging each other. We had a coaches meeting with them yesterday, and just watching them encourage each other. And
just about all of them are spouses and parents, and some of them other stuff going on. One of our staff is in school right now, so he's doing online classes now, and they've really just kind of gone above and beyond to really try to make this work, and we've been super appreciative of them.
So I'd say our team has definitely helped us make it happen. I think for us, the challenge has been, it used to be like we could go to work, get work done, then come home. And as everyone has found, it's much more difficult to separate work from home. We're working a lot more late nights once our daughter goes to bed. We work a lot of weekends right now because everything has to be done at Sunday by 8. So we're getting better. I'll say the first 3 weeks were long hours on the weekends. But like, I actually, fingers crossed, I think this is my first week. I'll be done by tonight with all my programming for Sunday night. So
that's awesome.
So yeah, it's been changing things a little bit. But we feel extremely fortunate, and it has been a new challenge for us. So it's kind of been fun. And I mean, we enjoy working together, so we can bounce ideas off of each other. But for us, it's balancing. We have all this programming we need to do. The business still has things that we have to do for the business side, just the administration, whether, April is actually a really big month for us as far as, taxes, insurance, pollution, payroll. And so there's all of that that's going on while we're also trying to, switch to remote business. But I do think for us, it's just been, okay, how can we create new standard operating procedures and then kind of schedule things, and we'll just shift work a lot. So it's like, hey, I'm on a shift, or I know that like he needs to get a bunch of things done that day. It's a payroll day. So I'll take Ada with me, let him have some time. And so, yeah, it's definitely been, we have not totally figured it out at all.
It's been a learning curve.
Every day is different.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it's just still in the very beginning stages, and everyone's still learning. So, but it's always nice to see people that are really doing it well, like you guys, and looking to you to see what you're doing right, so other people can do it right too. So, so you guys are fit. Your whole world revolves around fitness. So, have you seen a struggle recently with your own selves trying to get fitness into your life, even though you're trying to lead people to their own fitness? How have you seen a struggle in your own personal lives and trying to get a workout in here and there, or have you not been able to? What's been going on?
I mean, definitely I think the first 2 weeks for both of us, again, it was early mornings, late nights working and just kind of putting our head down and getting stuff done. And we still try to squeeze in a few things, and we enjoy taking walks as a family or, stuff like that. But it was really hard those first 2 weeks, and there was not a lot of working out and fitness going on. I do think now we found a little bit more of a balance. She enjoys taking some of our live classes. She'll do the Instagram live, or she'll do, if one of our coaches is leading the Zoom class, she'll follow along with that a lot. That's something you really enjoy doing, I think.
We test a lot of our clients' workouts, so that is actually always a kick in my butt to do, because I'm like, oh, I need to test that before I give it to them. And so it will force me to then be like, oh, I don't want to work out today. It's like, no, I want to test this and see how it's going to feel.
I think for both of us, though, it's just understanding it might look a little bit different right now. We're used to having access to a whole, gym to do stuff with certain equipment and space to do things, and just looks different right now, and that's okay. I think, for people that follow along fitness all, like personally, high intensity for me right now is just not something I've enjoyed doing. So most of my personal workouts have gone to more just really basic strength training, or going for a run or a walk or something like that. And that's worked really well for me. Christy still enjoys a little more of the high intensity side. So she'll, like I said, do one of the live classes, or, go spend 30 minutes to 30-minute clock and get something done in 30 minutes. So it's still happening. It's just different. I think that's where it is for most people. And it's probably one of our biggest struggles with clients is helping them see that just because it's not a 60-minute long session with a structured strength training session, with a structured conditioning session, it might look different for them, but that's okay. It's still something. We talk about something over nothing all the time. And if that means just taking your kids for a walk, that's something that day. Yeah. If that means literally setting a 20-minute clock and working for 20 minutes, then it's something. It's better than nothing. And I think that's something that it has been a struggle for a lot of clients to try to adopt that mindset, because again, some of them are used to 3, 4, 5 days a week of a very structured program with very structured coaching with very, you know, certain pieces of equipment and stuff. I think it's been hard for a lot of people.
And just figure out what works for them. Like maybe it's sending me a text message of when they're about to work out. Like, hey, Christy, I'm about to do my workout. Just need accountability. I think what we've also learned though is like kind of he was talking about earlier, health is bigger than just the fitness is something we've been better about is cooking dinner and eating dinner together at night. Like, so that I would say we become healthier individuals because of that. We always did all of our meal prep on Sunday. Now we actually cook dinner and we sit down at a table to eat it. I would say our sleep has gotten a little bit better. I mean, with the gym, like there were several days a week I have to get by 3:30 or 4 at the latest. So our sleep is better. So there are things that are, I think that we've grown in. And yeah, like maybe for the first couple of weeks the working out was harder, but there were definitely other areas that we had grown. And that's something we've also tried to help our clients with. Hey, if you can sleep now, let's get a few extra hours of sleep. If you can, you know, add a little bit of extra nutrition or try some new vegetables, like let's do that. And so kind of learn what we can do. It's easy to be like, well, I can't go to a gym. Well, I can't see people. It's like, well, no, we can do a lot. There's a lot we can do. And I think that's where we have to keep our mindset.
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting working at a technology centered place like Computer Systems Plus, because we have so many solutions at our fingertips for continuing business online, continuing business just getting into your online computer or just your desktop computer from your home. There's so many opportunities to just still be connected, and it's interesting how we just default to the negative all the time. We just, oh, we can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do this because of this. And you're like, well, actually you can. That's why we're here. Here you go. Here it is.
That's like what you guys do.
Yeah. So I know that you guys have been doing everything online. So we use something, what we're using right now, GoToWebinar, and it's also part of the GoTo solution. It has GoToMeeting, GoToWebinar, it has phone systems, has pretty much everything. You can do everything online and have a virtual office online. So what have you guys been using most of the time to keep your whole team connected? And I think you already said it, but why don't you just say it again, just how you're able to keep your whole business connected and virtually connect with everybody?
Yeah. We've used multiple different platforms. I think from a team perspective, Zoom has been probably our most common.
But we didn't know anything about anything.
Yeah.
We literally were like, what do we use?
Yeah.
It's
nice that it was there.
Well, and similar to this, it is nice to have that picture when you're talking to someone. You know, it does provide, I think, just an additional, it feels more personal than if this was just a phone call, or same with our staff. And so we have tried to do most of our staff meetings via Zoom. From a client perspective, a lot of it has, we've done definitely some Zoom live classes. We've used some of the social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram. They've got some good live features. And then she mentioned it earlier, there's a platform called True Coach that basically delivers our actual remote coaching program to them, which is super user-friendly and nice to have. So for us, it's kind of been a mix and match of several different platforms for sure.
Yeah. Our clients have gotten really good at remote stuff too. I think at first it was really overwhelming, and then they realized, like, man, there are a lot of options there to talk to people, to interact, and which has been great.
That's awesome. But yeah, I love technology, but sometimes it's like, it's not great. But right now, it's super great.
It's great.
To see people's faces, it's like, it's amazing. I get to come to work every day and I see people's faces, but it's also nice to see outside people's faces. Yeah. So I'm sure you guys feel the same.
My family remotely, and we'll do like trivia night remotely, which has been really fun.
Yeah, us too. We did that same thing. Elena loves it. So my oldest, we're actually going to do a virtual birthday party in 2 weeks. So we're going to have all her friends kind of call in and do a virtual one. So it'll be interesting. So awesome. Yeah, if you guys want to call in, it'll be there. Yeah. So this is hopefully not going to last forever, obviously, but how do you foresee the transition of you guys going back to a regular brick and mortar? Do you guys see being more of a hybrid to what it is now? Or maybe, I totally understand if you can't disclose your plans all the way. So
I think there's definitely gonna be a hybrid. It's gonna probably be a little bit of a process. I don't think it's gonna be all of a sudden you flip a switch and things are back to normal at the brick and mortar. I haven't personally looked into the
I've got some, the speculated
some
guidelines.
guidelines of like you can only have so many people in the class. Classes can only be so long. There's some certain sanitation guidelines we have to have. So I do think that'll limit, or at least make things look a little different for the first little while as we start to reopen and transition back into a brick and mortar business. But I do think, I mean, like she said, we've got several clients who, you know, they might have only been working out 1 or 2 days a week at our actual physical location, but now with remote coaching, they're working out 4 or 5 you know, days a week. And so I think,
oh, wow, that's awesome.
Gone, you know, they've had to move back home, but they're like, hey, I still want the programming, so they're able to continue training all summer. And while in August they'll be able to come back, this allows them to keep training while they are gone. And so I think it will be.
I do think there'll be, I think we'll see definitely some people that stick with the remote coaching because it just works better for them.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes driving 20 minutes just to get to the gym and then 20 minutes to get home, that's an extra 40 minutes on top of just the actual hour-long class. So if they can eliminate that 20-minute drive, sometimes that might be a better option. For some people that still need the accountability of in person, which is great.
And my hope too is that even some of our clients, like maybe they're like, man, I want back in the 4 walls, the brick and mortar, like that's what I love. But maybe they get, you know, a really busy season at work and they're working, you know, twice as many hours. Like, I just can't make it to the gym. Like he says, like, okay, well, maybe for 2 months, then I go back to remote where I can do it 20 minutes in the morning at my house. And so my goal is that we've been able to show our clients, like, honestly, just a different, like, yes, while training might look different, they're still going to see results. They're still, like we said, they're still getting from point A, they're being coached from point A to point B, even though it looks a little different. And so I think our goal is that we're just showing them a different avenue of help. And we've done that before, like someone who can't make it to the gym, hey, let's tackle nutrition coaching then. Like health can look different, what we're tackling in different seasons. And so our goal with this is like, it does allow us to reach more people. You know, like honestly, my parents just started it and it allows them, they're at home, they've got a van, they can do it then, whereas they live, you know, an hour from our gym, so it's really hard for them to make it to our gym. And so I think for some people, it actually eliminates some obstacles. For other people, there's definitely more obstacles, but I think for several, it has eliminated. And so our goal is maybe we could reach more people. Maybe we can be brick and mortar, but then the ones who aren't able to come to our facility, we can still help them. And that's our mission.
Yeah, that's something we've actually been noticing is that more people are understanding that we can service their company remotely. So we don't have to do it in person. And so we're not going into anyone's businesses or offices. We're doing everything remotely. And it was already 80% of our business. But it's just interesting how people just assume, oh, you don't do that. But we do. So it's and the same for you guys. So have you seen an increase or have you had any people come on as new clients virtually since this whole thing has started?
Yeah, we've had several. It's not been something we've really pushed for a ton. I think we weren't really sure what the workload was going to look like with our current clients, and they were kind of our main focus, at least starting off. But we have had several come on that have been just remote essentially from the get-go, and actually they've really thrived. I mean,
we had several that had literally the week before we closed, like had just started, and on been phenomenal. Like I am so impressed with how well they've done. And I mean, working out 5 days a week.
They've been some of our most consistent, most consistent clients with the remote coaching.
So I think it allowed us to keep some clients that maybe would have just dropped off. And like I said, they are doing phenomenal. And then also we've been able to gain a few clients through it as well.
Well, just logistically, I guess, because you do have, you still have a brick and mortar location that you're not using. So have you had to cancel services for the physical location? How have you been managing the physical location business-wise since then?
I mean, for the most part, no, we've not canceled. We had a few things that, you know, when all this first started coming, just like everyone personally and probably most businesses kind of went through line item by line item of what our expenses are and said, hey, are we actually using that service? And we had some that had honestly just kind of been reoccurring that we just haven't used for several months. And so, we did, close out a few things. But for the most part, our expenses have been pretty consistent. I mean, obviously utilities go down at the gym, that kind of stuff. But, we still have rent due. We still have most of our services were you know, from like the True Coach, which is the
Software,
softwares and that kind of stuff that we use. So most, I think, and our biggest expense, I can't talk, is payroll. And we've tried hard to keep our coaches at least close to where they were, if not even a few of them actually went up some because of extra work they're doing now. And so that's been, I mean, that, again, our expenses haven't really changed a ton.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
So it's definitely been, there's definitely been a transition with some of that and trying to figure out what does this look like if this extends for, you know, 3 months, 6 months. Those are probably some other conversations to be had, but for the most part, it's been
able to just kind of business as normal in a sense. I mean, business is totally different, but business is normal. At the same way. And like, that's actually felt really good. Even like with our coaching team, it's like I said, we have coaches meetings every week remotely, and just to see like our team stay together and really tackle this together. And like we have said several times, we literally could not have done this without them. And so seeing them just switch and be all in has been really cool. And lots of them working a lot more than they ever had been. So that's been sweet.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. Before we leave, do you guys have anything to add, or just some advice to any other business owners that are maybe struggling to move online? It's just whatever kind of knowledge tidbits you have for them.
We've talked to a lot of business owners, and I think that's been really healthy for us. I mean, there's been some painful days, not gonna lie. There's been some really hard days. There's been some really scary days. It was really scary to close the doors of the building that we opened 3 months ago, and we've worked tirelessly for. Like, that was not an easy decision. It was the right decision, but it was not easy. And I think it was really healthy for us to talk to other people and to realize, like, we have a backbone of support. Like, we have other people are going through the same thing. We're not alone. And to have the days that you can kind of just spend, I meet with some ladies every other Wednesday, we get coffee, and now it's all remote. But keeping those meetings has been so healthy for me, because we just encourage each other, and it like helps us stay the course. And I think it's actually interesting. We had our mission statement and our values rewritten about 2 months ago? Yeah, a month and a half ago. And it was interesting because when we started talking about switching to remote, we realized that none of those things changed when we went remote. Like, our mission and our vision and our values, they all stayed the same. And so I think it kind of helped us come back to our foundation and realize, like, well, yes, the way that we provide our service is changing, the excellence that we carry and that we've worked really hard for, that doesn't change. How we take care of our clients doesn't change. And so not letting fear creep in, and that's hard. I mean, it's easy to sit here and be like, don't be afraid, like, it'll all be great. Like, it's super scary when you look around and you have to close your doors. You have membership cancellations, you know, you don't know where the economy is going to be when you reopen. Like, those are all real things. But I think at the same time, like, fear does not typically make great decisions. And so we have had to work really hard, and luckily it's usually one of us is doing better than the other. So we kind of like switch back and forth. But just really trying to make wise decisions and leading, and then surrounding ourselves with people and asking questions. And I mean, our mentorship group has just been phenomenal during this time. I mean, especially the first 2 or 3 weeks, it was just constantly talking to our mentorship group and seeing what are other people doing, what is working for them, and not being afraid to ask questions. Like, questions are okay. Like, that doesn't mean that you don't have all the answers. It's just like, hey, it's actually wise to ask questions and to take other people's experiences and learn from those. So yeah, I think the biggest thing is like not allowing yourself to be alone, because that would be a really hard, scary place to be. And just yourself with people, with resources during this time, and just remembering, like, the reason you started at the end of the day. Like, it's easy in hard seasons to let that passion just like crash, but to really dig deep and like to work harder than ever. And so
I think something I've been reminded of several times by our mentorship group is that at some point this will end. And it's kind of like, you know, putting the gloves up and just, you know, fighting until, you know, there is a sunnier day coming, because it will come at some point. Stuff will turn around and we'll figure normal out. And if maybe this is a new normal for a while, so it's, you know, it is learning how to adapt your business and be willing to try something a little bit different, maybe, or connect with customers or clients a little bit differently. But at some point this will end in keeping that perspective, I think, because if you're constantly just looking at, just how hard it is right now and how things are just going downhill, like I think you'll get caught in that mindset, and it's gonna, like she said, create a lot of fear and anxiety and potentially cause some decisions that maybe you wish you didn't make, 6 months from now. And so just remembering that at some point, kind of stepping back, like this will end. Yes, I feel like I'm stuck in the middle of the forest, but pulling out to that 10,000 foot view, at least, weekly, daily, whatever, and looking forward, like, okay, there is an end to this at some point. I don't know when it is yet, but at some point something.
Yeah.
And I think keeping that perspective and keeping that hope is really important, right?
Yeah. So do you, sorry, last question. I thought I was all done, but we're pretty much bombarded with news 24/7 right now. So, it's all bad. So there's usually not very good stuff coming our way, unless you just intentionally look for good stuff, which most of us are doing anyways. But as business owners and trying to find the resources that you need if you need relief and all the loans that are accessible to everyone right now, or they were, how are you managing looking for those resources while also avoiding the things that can completely make you spiral out?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, to be blunt, thankfully, her mom owns a small business here in Knoxville as well, and they've been super helpful for us of sorting through some of that info with the PPP loans and all that kind of stuff. But I do think, I do feel like for us, it has been just connecting with other businesses and being willing to listen and hear what they have to say as well. Whether that was calling our accountant, lawyer, whatever, and figuring out, helping, not being afraid to ask for help, I guess, and seek some wisdom from people that are maybe been doing something in the business world a little bit longer.
It's really overwhelming. We found like all the information out there is extremely overwhelming, where you sometimes just want to like throw your hands up.
Yeah.
And literally every single day it was changing. And so like, especially with the PPP loan, I mean, it was daily changing. The application, I felt like changed every day.
Yeah, and we felt the same thing here. So.
Yeah, I think it changed every day, which is okay. I mean, they're doing the best they can. And so I think for us, it was like, okay, it was very easy for me to like get into the anxiety and like the franticness of it. And it's like, all right, take a big breath. Okay. Like my application is, 5 minutes later. All right. But really talking through with people and talking to people who had some experience in that, whether it is an accountant or questions that we had, and just not trying to do it on our own. And so we also have tried really hard, like we keep up with things as much as we can, but we also limit the amount of things we're trying to keep up with. So I don't need to just search the news all day, every day. That's not going to do much for our morale, and that's not going to allow our business to like keep running. And so, yes, I am keeping up with things. I'm keeping up with all the guidelines. I'm keeping up with, this phased approach plan that they're, proposing. But most likely I don't need to do that like 5 times a day. Like I can look at it at the end of the day, see what guidelines have changed. I
think it's realizing so much that's outside of our control.
Yeah.
Like we can't really control what's happening out there right now. But there are things that we go with our business, whether that's, setting up more calls with our clients, whether that's making their program that much better, whether that's thinking of what are some other potential avenues of revenue. And so I think for us, kind of, being aware of what's going on is obviously super important, and knowing the resources that are out there and talking to other people, and not being afraid to seek guidance, but also just really focusing on what can we control on a day-to-day basis. At the end of the day, we're the ones responsible for our business, whether it's the government or someone else. Like we're responsible for it, and so we can't anything that happens, great, that'd be awesome to get some support, but at the end of the day, it's on us for the most part. And I think
that's the beauty of a small business, is the hard part. It's like at the end of the day, it's on him and I. Like we can't blame anyone else. And so really take ownership of that and be like, okay, then what can we do right now? Well, yes, looking for other outside opportunities, but what can him and I do? So
well, that's a great answer. So well, thank you guys so much for coming on. I don't have any more questions for you guys, but if you have anything else to add, just let me know. But it's been it's been really cool to watch you guys just kind of navigate this whole situation. It's been cool to see all of our neighbors on Sevier Avenue watch the whole transition, even if it's been bad or good. I know we're little neighbors on the same street, but I mean, all of Knoxville is really just coming together, and it's really awesome to see. So that's why I started this kind of webinar series just to help the local community. So it will be great to see you guys back open and our street filled again. But until then, I'm glad you guys are doing really well and just navigating this whole thing successfully so far.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, I'll talk to you later. Have a good day, and I'll send out an email for everybody too. All right.
Awesome. Thanks, Sarah.
Bye, guys.
I gotta figure out how to stop it.